this day of your time as you create time to exist. We will begin this interaction with reinforcement that though we may be extraterrestrial in nature, we realize that the information that we ought to share with each and every one of you should be of such a nature so that you can adapt it into your terrestrial lives. As such, allow me to indicate that this interaction will have two parts to it. The first part shall deal with some of the ideas of what you call us, extraterrestrials, to answer a few questions that many of you have been asking about our different species. The second part shall deal specifically with many of the ideas and desires that each and every one of you have expressed with regard to attaining success in the endeavors in your life. To know that you can create this success in very specific, very clear ways without a lot of struggle, without a lot of strife, with clear consciousness, very, very simply. Therefore, the second portion of this interaction shall have a title, and you may give this title to the entire tape, even though the first portion we will be discussing a little bit about ourselves. The title you may use is 135, the no-risk formula. Now, allow us to begin, first of all, with the idea of extraterrestrial consciousness. Most of you will understand there is really nothing mysterious about this. There is life throughout the universe, and it takes many different forms of expression. But the one basic common idea is that we are expressions of the all that is, the one consciousness of creation, just as you are yourself. Each and every being, no matter what form physiologically it may take, is another mirror, another facet of the idea of the universal consciousness expressing itself in every possible way that it can. We have discussed this concept with many of you many times, and I will not belabor the point at this particular exchange. Suffice it to say, each and every one of you as a unique reflection, as a unique expression of the infinite, also contains the whole infinite. You are holographic, if you will, in nature. The part contains all the information of the whole. Each part contains the whole. You have the ability to express your part and your wholeness in whatever way, shape, or form you deem to be the most exciting expression you could manifest, because that is your purpose, that is your mission, that is your legacy, to live up to your full potential as the particular expression you are being in this lifetime. Many individuals, as we have discussed, say, oh, I am searching for my purpose in life. I am searching for my meaning. Why am I here? What am I doing? The idea, as we have stressed before many times, is to follow the thing that excites you the most, acting on it with integrity, because that excitement, that vibration you call excitement, is the answer to your prayers, is the indicator that lets you know that this thing that excites you more than anything else is the path that you are here to perform. Therefore, it is unerring. It is always easy to find, because it is the thing that fills you with the most joy. And if you follow it and act on it with absolute faith and absolute trust, you will unfold the purpose of your chosen lifetime, this particular expression. But first of all, let us talk about extraterrestrials, as you call us. Once again, the idea is that there are many forms. Now, there was on your videotape a question that was posed Many of your scientists are listening for radio signals from extraterrestrial, yet they have not really heard any. Well, why not? Well, that is very easy to answer. We do not use radio. The idea is that you are right now, as your Earth is positioned relative to the nearest other star systems that have extraterrestrial life, your planet is in what we might term a radio desert. The civilizations that are immediately around you, there are only a few of them that ever used radio to begin with. They are long past their radio history. No longer do they give off radio wave signals from their planet for you to pick up. The civilizations that are, let's say, relatively close to your civilization, that are still using radio, have not been using radio long enough for the radio signals to have reached you yet, and will not reach you for quite some time. Your civilization is on the verge of not using radio anymore. The idea also is that there are many forms of electromagnetic communication that can be done in what you would call tight band communication. In other words, the form of communication that is laser-like and does not leak into space for other civilizations to pick up. So you are on the verge as a technological civilization also of dispensing with radio waves. And therefore you as a planet will also be radio silent for the most part. In the very near future, perhaps within what you may term the next decade or two at the most. Therefore, understand that your communication with extraterrestrial societies will more often than not take the form that you see before you now. The idea of direct mind-to-mind communication. For our civilizations have learned that the physical form, what you call the human body, what we perhaps call the Essassani body, what some other civilization will refer to as their own style of body, all have the capability of acting as biological transceivers. And it is a much more direct form of communication that contains a greater ability of expression than a simple modulation of electromagnetic waves. The idea is that, yes, it does take a little bit of time to train the receiver, to train the sender, but once the training is done, once the sender and the receiver are synchronized in their wavelengths, once they are sensitized to each other, then communication can occur on a multitude of levels. Do understand that the communication you are receiving through the physical channel before you now is taking place on many more levels other than just visually, auditorily. There is energy being sent to you that is going through the channel into you. You are receiving conversation, communication on many different levels of your consciousness. Sometimes this communication on these levels, sub and unconscious as you call them, will be embedded in your consciousness and only blossom later, perhaps when you relax in sleep, in your dream state, or perhaps when your mind is wandering elsewhere, suddenly you will snap and remember a certain portion of the information that we are discussing that you did not hear with your ears nor see with your eyes. There are, aside from the vocalizations that we are able to create through the channel, also the gestures that you will see the channel's body going through. This is indicative of another form of conversation, another level of the conversation going on that you are picking up, as you would say, subliminally. And it is saying sometimes the same thing and sometimes many different things that you yourself will not realize until you release that information on the appropriate level at the appropriate time. But realize again that the emotionality this way can come through. I am not speaking your language. I do not even speak my own language anymore, as our society is now mostly telepathic. I do understand our language as an ancient language, as a remnant language, and a few words of it can be spoken from time to time through the channel because it is the language that I know. But I do not speak your English. I do not speak any other earth language. What is simply happening is that my mind, my thoughts, my consciousness, my frequency is now synchronized with the thoughts and the mind and the consciousness and the frequency of the channel before you, and you are receiving a translation of my thoughts. The channel is now acting much in the same way as your radio, as your telephone. You understand, as has been discussed, as has been described, that the voice you hear on your telephone is not actually, not literally, not directly the voice of the person speaking on the other end. It has been converted into electromagnetic waves and reconverted in your phone speaker into a facsimile of a voice. So you have a direct analogy here. I am not speaking, I am thinking. I am linked to the vibrational frequency of the channel. We are synchronized, and therefore the channel is functioning as a model, as a translation device for my consciousness. But it is made out of the channel's energy. I am not actually directly there with you physically, as you understand that terminology. I am conducting a long-distance call through the channel's mind. And do not worry, I will not send you the bill. Now, many individuals have discussed the idea of what you call UFOs. Of course, to us, they are IFOs, because we know perfectly well that we are in them and what they are. So they are identified to us. However, let us simply use the generic terminology of spacecraft, if you wish, saucer, if you wish, or they are disc-shaped. Most of them are anyway. There are a few exceptions, but we will not go into that for now. The idea of our spacecraft is simply that it is a resonating chamber, a resonating cavity, so to speak. It is a waveguide. For those of you that understand that terminology in your physical terms, in your physics terms. The idea is that we do not travel per se in the same way you understand space travel. We do not have a form of propulsion per se in the same way that you propel your rockets through space. We have created a vibrational resonance chamber. Everything in the universe is the product of vibration. You are the product of a certain frequency of the primal energy. We are the product of a certain frequency of primal energy, of creative energy. Everything has a signature vibration, if you will, by which it is identifiable. The idea even of space-time, of location itself, can be identified with a frequency. In other words, if you have an object and it is in location A, it has a certain frequency vibration. If you take that object and move it to location B, it will have almost an identical signature vibration, but almost is the key, for it will vary in one small way. It will have a slightly different locational vibration. Thereby you can identify the idea that this is now a different thing, a completely different object, and that the concept of location is not a place in which the object exists, but it is actually an integral property of the object itself. Different object in B, different object in A. We have, in our technology, as you would call it, created the ability to isolate our spacecraft from any particular universal vibration. While the spacecraft is isolated in that way, while it is at the zero rest point, the center point of all possible universes, all possible locations in space and time, we then infuse that craft with the vibrational signature of the location we wish to go to. Therefore, the craft then, when its energy is overwhelmed by the greater energy of the vibrational harmonic of that location, will immediately, instantaneously, as you say, disappear from location A and simply reconstruct itself at location B. No traveling has occurred. It has, in that sense, slipped through the holographic matrix, redefining itself, re-identifying itself and its crew, hopefully, at the other end. There have been accidents. There have been accidents, as you say. Crew members have not always shown up at the other end. You will encounter this when you finally discover this particular technique. So I would simply say, not to worry you, but simply be cautious, be careful, be thorough. Otherwise, you may find yourselves in parts unknown. Now, understand that this does not in any way, shape, or form violate the idea of traveling faster than light, which in a sense is a barrier for, or I shall say a definition for, the boundary of physical third-dimensional reality. We do not break the barrier of light. We simply avoid the issue altogether. By transforming ourselves into a higher dimension, if you will, an astral or etheric form, and then reprojecting ourselves back into materiality at the appropriate space-time location. Now, from another point of view, you could actually say the ship never goes anywhere, and the universe moves around it. You simply reorient yourself, and then, shall we say, reinsert yourself when and where you so desire. Now, many of you are beginning to explore and experiment with this type of technology. I will now, because it has already been shared to some extent by us and by others within the Association of Worlds with members of your planet, I will now give you very briefly, if you have your notepads ready, a little bit of a formula. This will describe the idea that you would call the hull material of a very basic spacecraft. There have been many refinements in many civilizations that have, shall we say, improved upon this formula, but this is a good place for you to start since you are at the beginning of this type of technology. First of all, of course, experiment and explore the whole idea of vibrational tonality, and that will give you your navigational system. But in terms of actually generating an experimental substance that you can play with for a while and see what kind of properties you can coax from it, I give you this particular combination of elements, as you call them. Magnesium, 62.2%. Nickel, 12%. Copper, 9%. Aluminum, 8.5%. Silicon, 4.5%. The remainder is made up of what you would call argon at 3.8%. The idea is to form within an argon atmosphere a melted matrix of silicon into which you then infuse the powdered form of all the other elements I mentioned in their proper ratios, creating not an alloy, but a matrix embedded in the silicon substance. Allow it to cool. The correct amount of argon will inject itself simply by being present in the atmosphere in which you have melted, shall we say, or liquefied the silicon. Have fun with that. And great joy in your discoveries. Now, allow us to proceed on for now to the idea of 135, the no-risk formula. You may want to hang on to your notepads because we understand that in your time frame there is not much time. I will proceed through this relatively rapidly. However, understand this. What we are about to share, again, from our perspective, can work for you. It is up to you and your imagination to adapt and alter this information in whatever way, shape, or form your imagination deems fit, because only you are your best teacher, not me. I cannot live your life. I cannot run your life. I have my own life. Thank you very much. But I can suggest ideas that have worked for us. I can be relatively specific and relatively certain that the tools I am about to share will create changes in your life that are positive, that are rapid, where you will get an immediate effect. But it will vary from person to person. But you will see great changes nonetheless, if you are even willing to apply these ideas. So pay close attention. 135. The principle of one. First of all, understand, going in, as you say, that you are, in fact, one. That all things are one thing, manifesting itself in all the ways it possibly can. Everyone, everything, every place you look at is you in another form, you in another idea, in another expression, in another reflection. Therefore, the principle of one with regard to creating success in your life is to understand that it is not separate from you. Your goal is not separate from you. It is not out there and you are over here, many miles away from your goal. The idea is that it is you. You are it. Therefore, what you are doing is you are not going after the goal. You are not going after the thing that excites you. You are simply in the process of becoming the thing, of knowing that you already are that idea. And the more you know it, the more the reality around you will manifest and reflect what you know yourself to be. Understand the following very important principle. You cannot experience a reality that you are not the vibration of. Whatever vibration you are is the reality you get. Now, sometimes because of the way you have fragmented your consciousness in your particular dimension of physicality, you can create a reality from a subconscious or unconscious portion of yourself, unknowingly, attracting things you do not consciously desire. This happens because whatever is the strongest belief within you is what is the strongest vibration you give off. And if that belief happens to be a fear, then those are the types of situations you will more likely attract. Because you are saying, in fearing that this might happen, or in fearing that this won't happen, you are saying that that's what you believe is the most likely reality you can attract. And the universe is absolutely going to give you the strongest reflection you give off. Remember, there is only one law in creation. Not 100, not 10, just one. Only one. Just one. Really, only one. It's that simple. One law. What you put out is what you get back. That's all there is to it. Everything else, as you say in your language, is your ball game. Everything else. What you put out is what you get back. If you don't like what you're getting back, learn what you would be having to believe in order to put that out and get that kind of a reflection. Examine your beliefs, explore your beliefs, take them apart, reassemble them, redefine them, put them back together in the way you want to. This is what we are going to talk about in terms of techniques and tools that you can use directly to apply immediately and get a change right now. How to examine those ideas, how to transform your beliefs so you are giving off only the vibration of the reality you want to be, and thereby only getting that reality in return. This is simple mechanics, simple physics. It is no more complicated in principle than this. Although we understand that one of the ways your civilization has chosen to complicate this issue is to believe that it is more complex than it is. because you have been taught to think in fragments. You have been taught to focus on the details. And therefore, the more details you focus on, the longer something takes. Because if you create more details to look at, you have to create more time to look at them in. When you start understanding the concept you desire as a whole idea, you focus on the whole, all the details automatically fall into place to create that whole and bring it rushing into your reality and your experience. So take the long view. One, the idea is that the long view is right here, right where you are. It is not out there. The long view is the shortest view. That is the paradox. What is out there is actually right here. And that's when you start experiencing magic in your life. That's the principle of the one. You can apply it by simply knowing it is so. 1, 3, 5. The principle of the three. These are three very strong tools we are about to discuss now. Some of the strongest we can possibly share because they are the most basic and they work for everyone. Many of you have heard the principle of the three before. You will hear it again. The principle of the five, however, in your terminology, will be new to you and will allow the principle of three to be taken to more specific levels. In other words, if you have a very specific project, a very specific goal, the principle of the three will help you create the atmosphere in which that goal, that project, that reality can occur. But the principle of the five will absolutely guarantee that that project, that goal will be created with no risk involved. In fact, the concept of risk does not exist. And the principle of five will show how that is so. But first, the principle of the three. We have discussed this, and I will state it first very simply. See it, feel it, and be it. 1, 2, 3. See it. All right, what does that mean? Well, literally, see it. If you have something you really desire, see it. See it in your mind's eye. See it in your meditation. See it in your imagination. This is what your imagination is for. To create the blueprint, to create the image of the reality you desire. See it as vividly as you can. If you need the idea of pictures, find the pictures to help you with the visualization. Find the strongest possible images that are representative of your goal, of your project, of your desire, of your reality, who you want to be. Is it a picture of a person? Is it a picture of a place, of a thing, of an idea? If you can't find the picture, draw the picture. Look at it. See it. Visualize it. Very, very important. You are visual beings. You operate almost exclusively visually to receive your information. Visualize it. Create the information. See it. Feel it. Be it. Feel it. What do I mean? Feel it. Well, all right. If you see something in your imagination that is supposed to be a representation of what you say would be the most exciting thing you could do or be, I would think that when you see it, you're going to get excited. You're going to feel it. So in other words, when you see it, I would assume you're not going to be sitting there going, oh yes, I see it. Well, that's very nice. Yes. Well, that's very interesting. Yes, well, I see this and I see that. Well, so what? The idea is to become involved in it, to connect your emotionality, your senses to it. You are physical beings. Your spirituality will depend upon you integrating your physical senses together, not denying them. The idea is to taste that vision, to smell it, to hear it, to feel it. Really get involved in it. If you were in that situation you are seeing in your imagination, how would you feel? What would you be tasting? What would you be smelling? How would you be touching things? Feel the tactile sensations. Get involved. Plug all of your sensory equipment into it. Get excited about it so you can feel your heart speeding up. Because it is, what you are seeing is real. is real. A little secret. Your imagination is real. There is nothing you cannot imagine that is not real. All things are real. If you can conceive of them, they exist. You cannot conceive of non-existence. Anything you can conceive of is a reality. Now, granted, some of them are more, shall we say, manifestable in your dimensions, perhaps, and in other dimensions, perhaps. The idea is to train your physical form to behave in the manner of what you see and what you feel. To surround yourself literally. I cannot possibly repeat this enough. This is very important. To surround yourself literally with as many of the props and atmospheres and situations and circumstances that are representative of the reality you desire to be as you can. In other words, if you want to be that president of a multi-million-dollar corporation, find some office somewhere that you can sneak into or rent or borrow or steal. Well, don't steal it. Or buy. Use integrity. Get into that situation. Sit down at that desk. Look out the expansive windows over the entire world. See what that feels like. Be that person. Understand that if you are this president of this corporation, you're going to move in a certain way. You're going to reach for certain things at a certain distance. You're going to train your body how to act like that person. The idea that many of you have expressed, I want to be very abundant, I want to be very rich. Nothing wrong with that. A footnote, however, understand, abundance is not always money. Can be, but it isn't always money. Abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Sometimes money will take the longest path. If you allow abundance to come into your life in whatever form it can, then it may happen sooner because it can happen in many other ways besides money. But if money is the way, it will be there. It will be automatic, or an opportunity will present itself for you to make the money. However, back to the original idea. If the idea of abundance is exciting, then allow yourself to act like an abundant person. A person who is abundant does not go around clipping out little 3-cent coupons to save here and there. The action itself is saying volumes to your body consciousness. Yes, I am an abundant person, but who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? I might lose everything, I don't know, but yes, I am an abundant person. You don't look like it, therefore that's not the reality you're going to get. The universe is not going to support you in the idea of being abundant if you're not giving off the signals of abundance. And the signal of abundance is that you already contain it all. Remember that this is a win-win, as you say, situation. No one has to lose so you can have it all. Everyone can have it all. That's the benefit of a multi-dimensional simultaneous universe. You are each your own reality, and in your own reality, you can have it all. And it will take nothing, not one tiny atom away from anyone else's reality, because you are the whole universe, and you are the whole universe, and you are the whole universe simultaneously. That is the beauty of the holographic nature of creation. You can all have it all without anyone losing. 1, 2, 3. The idea. See it. Feel it. And be it. Act like it. Act it out. And I really mean act it out if you possibly can. Then, slowly, the props that you might have set up for yourself, that you are training your body with, slowly or quickly, depending on you, they will be replaced by the real things. Because when your body says it's ready to receive those real things, because now it's in the habit of handling that much abundance and that much joy and that much ecstasy, and knows that it deserves, big issue, deserves to have that much ecstasy, nothing will keep it from you. The universe in that sense, the reality that you have created, does not have a mind of its own. It does not say, well, I think I will mess with this person's mind and not give them everything they deserve. I will be free, see it, feel it, be it. In other words, if you have a vision and you are seeing it, feeling it, and being it, then you have the complete idea of, number one, having a vision, a goal, a picture, an idea, a concept. That is the first element. An expression of your excitement, in other words. What is it that you want to do with that excitement you feel? What is it that does excite you so much? What is that vision? That's number one. If you have the vision, you have number one. Clear vision. Number two, timing. Timing. Be aware, be sensitive to the timing of everything and what is going on around you in your reality, what other realities are doing. But at the same time, understand this. When you are excited about something, that in and of itself is a signal that on some level, in some form, the timing is correct, or you would not have conceived, or you would not be being excited by that thing. But timing is a key. Be aware that there may be many things you need to learn to accomplish your vision. Learn the timing of your vision. Sense the timing of its place in your society. And work accordingly. Do not be impatient. All the things you learn in life, if you are following the path that excites you the most, all the things you learn in life apply to that idea, to that goal, to that vision. There is nothing extraneous, no wrong turns. If you act with trust and faith, the timing will always work out perfectly. You have a saying on your own planet, and we believe it is a profound truth. Nothing is more powerful than an idea when its time has come. Timing is number two of the five. Number three, knowledge. Educate yourself to the things that are representative of your vision, to the elements that go into the style of your world, the vernacular, the tools, the type of talk, the type of walk, the knowledge of what that vision represents, the skills that go with it. Educate yourself. Become immersed in that idea. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Live it day after day in an excited manner, not in drudgery. Knowledge that excites you. Knowledge that you are attracted to automatically. Knowledge. So we have, of the five so far, vision, timing, knowledge. Number four, resources. Connect yourself to others, to other beings. Yes, you can still do it all yourself, and at the same time attracting other people into your life that can help you is doing it yourself. And yet at the same time acknowledge their assistance. Acknowledge their resources that they bring to you, or acknowledge the resources that you are able to get. Whatever the elements are that need to be brought in synchronization with you, with your vision, with your goal, the resources that will allow it to occur in physical terminology. Gather them. Meet individuals. If there is someone doing something you would love to do, go and talk to them. Find out what they're like. Find out how they did it. Doesn't mean you have to do it that way, but let them rub off on you. Start to match their vibration, the portions of their vibration that you believe represent the style you would like to do it in, the portions of their vibration that you believe represent your integrity. Many of you block yourselves from achieving abundance because you say, well, yes, I've seen many rich people, but boy, are they ever jerks. I don't want to be a jerk, so I guess I can't be rich. Understand that that may be the way that person is being. You do not have to be judgmental, by the way. That will only keep you on their level. Remember, in what you call your Bible, it says, judge not, lest ye be judged. Doesn't mean that if you judge, some great God is going to judge you. No, it means that as you judge, you become the vibration of judgment and judge yourself and keep yourself on the level of the thing or the person you are judging. So you cannot rise above the judgment. The idea, therefore, is to understand that you can be abundant in your own way. You do not have to do it the way they did it, and in fact, you cannot do it the way they did it, and no one can do it the way you will do it, because you are unique. Cherish that uniqueness, and at the same time, make the connection. Get the resources of your planet working for you, because you are very abundant. You have everything you need to achieve anything you can imagine. You only don't know that because you hesitate, because you do not think you can talk to this person or find out about that because you're a nobody. You are everybody. You are somebody. You are the one person you need to be to accomplish everything. So, you have resources as number 4. Vision, timing, knowledge, resources. And number 5, perhaps in a sense, one of the most important, and it wraps up the whole thing. Commitment. Absolute commitment. Absolute focus, absolute faith, absolute trust that the thing that excites you the most is the only choice. There is not, well, I don't know, maybe it won't work. Well, I don't know, I better play it safe. Well, I don't know. Commitment. That the process itself is important. Not just the idea of the goal. That everything you are learning gives you joy and is a portion of the overall idea. Not just a step on a long path. It is the idea itself. Commitment. Knowing that the excitement is the path to follow. Staying with it. Seeing that. Being that. Breathing that. Living it. Living your dream. Because there is no other choice for you. Because you will not have it any other way. Commitment. Being that idea to the fullest that you can be. Excel at that. Excel at that. Because you are excelling at yourself. And so, this very simple formula, 1-3-5, oneness of everything that you are, the seeing, the feeling, and the being, the vision, the timing, the knowledge, the resources, and the commitment. These are the names of the tools that will create absolutely no risk and will attract to you very rapidly the things you desire to be. The things you now know you are. And I assume, though I'm not telling you what to do, you will start acting like you are. If you really want these things. If you really want to be that person. If you really want to have that life. How committed are you? Now, a lot of this dialogue has been given to you on other levels. But it is very simple. You don't have to complicate it. It is very simple. These ideas have worked for our civilization of Essassani. We know they can base work for your civilization. And we know that this is true because you would not have attracted us to your civilization to communicate with you otherwise if what we had to share could not be of assistance to you. Because there are no accidents. However, once again, you will use this information in your own way. And that is as it should be. Because you are your own best guides. and your own best teacher. We will at this time open up to sharing, to questions if you wish.
Sure, I'd like to ask the first one.
Oh, right.
Would you please share or update us what has been happening with you, with your civilization, since our last sharing of last November?
There are many, many, many ideas going on, so I will keep it very brief. We have, as a civilization, now begun to transcend our physicality. We are forming a stronger connection to the civilization, the non-physical portion of the civilization, around the star you call Sirius. There is much more blending going on in that sense. And as there is more blending going on between our civilization and higher civilizations, for certainly we are nowhere near the top, and there really is no top, by the way. But as we join more with our higher selves now and become less and less physical, we are able to send to you more and more energy to blend your spiritual and physical realities together. And we are able to do this now with more and more civilizations as we increase in our own self-empowerment. At the same time, we have begun to understand a whole new level of tonality, of interdimensional tonality that our civilization is now synchronizing with. In other words, there are now from time to time literally waves of tonality that will go around through our civilization where you may simply find one person. This is one way this manifests, only one way. One person in one spot may start with a tone, may simply be doing something else, and the tone may not even last all that long. But then nearby other people will pick it up, and it will spread as a wave, a circular wave around the planet, until a vast majority of the members of the civilization have actually, as you say, hummed that tone. And we are now synchronizing our consciousness into one faster and faster and faster vibration. You understand? Does this help you?
Thank you.
Next.
You know what, I'm asking the question because you already answered it. You read my mind as usual, and I want to thank you.
All right. Then
But
perhaps you might like to give someone else an opportunity if you have no question.
Well, no.
Oh, you do have a question.
Yes, I do.
All right.
But I would like to share what it is with everybody anyway.
Very brief. Very, very, very brief.
Thank you. I'm sure that you are aware of the two books, at least two of the works I have written
Yes.
out of the teachings or informations.
Yes.
The question I have is on the fun part of it, the Whipbuster Rally USA
Yes.
program that we are designing as a fun, very fast way of acquainting the majority of people in this country and perhaps other places of the idea of human integrity and empowerment.
Yes. Self-empowerment. Yes.
Self-empowerment. And the question I have is this.
Yes.
I'm curious to know if you think that this is an adequate vehicle to accomplish this in as short a time as possible, or should I go back to the drawing board and pack up some more wallop?
Is this idea, is this approach the one that excites you the most at this time that you are able to conceive of? Are you able to conceive of another approach that excites you more? Or is this the one that excites you the most of all the approaches you can conceive of right now?
Yeah, in this particular area it is, but it's not the only thing that excites me, and that worries me.
Oh, worries you?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not excited enough, so I guess I'll be worried. The idea is to understand that every single thing that excites you, if there are seemingly many different things that excite you equally, can then perhaps be lumped into one overall category that is the thing that excites you the most. And all the other things that are equal in excitement are simply different ways that you can manifest that one most exciting thing. Therefore, each and every one of those expressions will work for you if you use them, when you want to use them. Perhaps you're simply giving yourself an opportunity to use different tools, because maybe now and then one will work for a while, then perhaps you'll need to switch to another tool. But they all fall under the same category of the whole idea that excites you, which is to teach individuals that they are as powerful as they need to be to create any reality they desire without having to ever hurt anyone else or themselves in order to create it. You understand what I am saying?
Yes, you're saying, do I understand that you're saying that I should act on all the others that excite me all at the same time, and they will all...
When you are capable of acting on something and incapable of acting on anything else, act on the thing that excites you the most at any given moment. That will be the correct thing to do at that time. And it will all fall under the overall category of the thing, the path, the idea, the mission, and the purpose that excites you the most. You follow me?
Are you enjoying the fun?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. That's the whole key.
Don sends a love to all the Essaseni children.
Our love to you all, to all the earth children, of which, of course, you are one, and all of you. Thank you. Next sharing.
Sure.
Yes.
Related specifically to what you were talking about tonight. Okay. Closer.
Do not swallow it.
All right. I think there are many of us who have listened to your reflections of what we know for a long time and have made an effort. I don't want to use the word try. I know you don't like that word.
Oh, it is not that I like it or do not like it. It is simply inefficient, or shall we say, an incorrect definition.
Okay.
For you are either doing or you are trying to do. Depends on what you prefer.
We are doing this and manifesting this in our lives.
Yes.
Yet it still seems sometimes or many times it doesn't work. And in my mind, I have thought in terms of karma, not as punishment.
Understood.
But we come here to learn certain lessons.
Yes.
And if we haven't learned those lessons, all the believing and all the things that you mentioned tonight are not going to work until we have learned the lessons in our lives that we need to.
In a sense, that is correct, because if you are resisting allowing yourself to go through the experience that will allow you to become the person you need to be to do that thing, then you will not become that person and not be able to do that thing. The idea is to back off of the resistance to any experience in that sense, to see all experiences as positive, and by seeing them only as positive, to gain a positive effect out of them, and by allowing them all to come into your life and go through you, then you will transform very quickly and allow yourself to do, or shall we say, be the vision that you have. You understand? Resist none of those experiences. Do not struggle, nor create friction within yourself about saying, oh, no, this thing that is happening in my life can have nothing to do with what I want. Allow it to be exactly what needs to be there. Infuse it only with a positive meaning, not a negative meaning. Remember, no situation has built-in meaning. The meaning you give it is the effect you get out of it. So when something happens, give it a positive meaning, and therefore you will only get a positive effect out of it. You will go through that experience very quickly. There will be no resistance, and you will transform very rapidly into the person you need to be to have that experience, the overall experience, happen in your life. You follow me?
Not exactly. I'll have to listen to that again.
All right, not exactly.
But let me ask a question related to that.
Very briefly, for there are others that wish to ask as well.
You used the word allow.
Allow.
Many a times.
Yes.
What is the difference between allowing
Yes.
and the attitude of just kicking back and saying forget it and putting it totally out of your mind? It seems like allowing
still implies that you are taking responsibility, and when opportunities present themselves to you, that you will still act on them, not ignore them. You will not think, oh, I do not have to do anything. It will just fall in my lap. The opportunity will fall in your lap, but you must act on it. You must show your willingness to act on the opportunity, because your willingness to act on the opportunity is directly equivalent to your willingness to be the person you want to be. You understand?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thanks
Thank you very much. Sharing.
Yes, Bashar. What excites many of us is when we're going to be interacting with the extraterrestrials. And at one time you mentioned that you would be directly involved in interacting with our civilization.
Yes, though our civilization will not be the first ones, but we will be involved, yes.
Yes, you said about 67%. So realizing that your civilization now is being created by us in the Zeta Reticuli.
In a sense, although it is not as directly linear as that, but that will do for an analogy.
Yes, and I was just wondering, as far as how our consciousness is speeding up on the planet, was there any timing speeded up, or who some of these other people may be involved?
Do you not feel it around you? Have you not seen the walls coming down? Have you not seen miracles occur that you thought would not occur in 100 years? Do you not see it speeding up?
Well, I was talking about the interaction with you or the Pleiadians or some of the other civilizations.
We understand that. But again, our interaction with your civilization is directly equivalent to your civilization's willingness to interact with itself.
Okay.
Understand?
Touching us, our future selves touching us and changing.
Thank you very much. When you become your future selves, then we will be able to interact with you, because it is your future selves that we are interacting with.
Okay, so
understand?
Yes, it's really us interacting with ourselves.
In a sense, yes,
okay.
But we will also physically be interacting with you, but with your future selves, not the selves you are right now.
Okay.
Understand?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sharing.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
2 ideas.
2 ideas. Is that a sneaky way of saying 2 questions?
No.
All right.
It's an equation.
All right.
Attitude in equals altitude out.
All right.
And life is like going to the movies with God.
Well, all right, if you wish.
And, okay, a while back, we talked about a transmitter that was a crystal cylinder.
Yes.
With all points going in on a
Yes.
on a conductor type
Yes.
of a rod.
Yes.
Now, would that rod be conductor insulator? And
It depends on what effect you want. There are many different kinds of effects, and therefore the difference within that rod will determine the type of effect you get out of it. Sometimes it will be a simple energy conductor. Sometimes it will be a dimensional gate. It depends on how it is designed. The basic premise of the cylinder created of the crystalline forms with their points all facing inward is the basic matrix. The rod that goes in it is like the fine tuner that determines what type of effect you get out of it. You follow me?
pretty close, I guess.
All right, pretty close.
The transmitter
Yes.
works in union with the receiver, and that's that sphere with the triaxial conductors coming out of it.
Yes.
Is there any more you can elaborate on that transmitter?
Only once again, the formula we have given you this evening can be used to some degree in that regard. Also remember once again that the tetrahedral structure in and of itself contains all the information you need if you explore it mathematically. This will give you the information that will suffice for now.
Are those...
You need to go into your own imagination and trust your own imagination more than you do.
Are those silicon dioxide crystals, and can they be machine polished?
They can be, yes.
Is it better or...
I will tell you that not.
Super thanks.
Super welcome. Shooting! Before you ask your question, what is the concept now of your timing? All right.
I have a question regarding feeling like we're running out of time.
Feeling like you're running out of time.
Feeling behind my own schedule.
Oh, no, will you ever catch up to
Yes.
next week? Oh, no, the program was delayed. Now we will never know. running behind schedule. All right. Go ahead.
So once there,
Why do you feel like you're running behind schedule since you're the one that created the schedule? Why not create a schedule you can keep up with?
good idea.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Understand, each and every one of you, your own timing is perfect. Whatever vibration you align yourself with will be the reality that you attract. Create a pace that is joyful, that is comfortable. Whatever is most natural to you will be the correct pace and the correct timing for you to be what you need to be. You follow along?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Our love at this time to you all. We extend our appreciation in allowing us to communicate this way to you at this time. Our energy to you, our love to you. Pleasant and joyous dreams. For we are all living a dream right now. Good day.